From Hollywood to your hood, public breakdowns are everywhere. But what if we turn gossip into growth? On Allegedly, we react to the wildest viral stories, celebs spiraling, influencers breaking down, and infamous moments you can't unsee. But we don't just watch, we work. We break it down, do the self-work, and find the breakthrough hiding in their mistakes. New episodes drop every Monday on YouTube at My Coach Ministry, because your healing might just begin with someone else's headline. Allegedly, where the breakdown is the beginning of your breakthrough.
So, it is now time for Allegedly. And of course, in this segment, we take the time to explore current trending topics, news items, or issues currently that's going viral in the news. And we explore these stories to find the inspiration in them, to inspiration that will help us to do our self-work so that we can extract some breakthroughs from other people's breakdowns and life experiences. And of course, before going into them, I always want to make it clear that I'm very thankful to all the people mentioned in the story. And, we pray God bless them, because they go through it so we can learn from it, go from, you turn the gossip into growth kind of thing, extract the inspiration from it, extract the lessons from it, and do our self-work, because it is my belief that God would never expose me to something that was not meant for my benefit. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's gossip. I don't care what it is. Anything that this universe allows me to become exposed to, there is a breakthrough in it for me. And I just need to pay attention so that I can see and understand the breakdown and extract the inspiration that's needed, the lesson, so that I can use it to generate breakthroughs, and I pray the same for you, that you'll do the same. So I want to thank all the persons who will be mentioned here. And let me make it very, very clear. We're not here to demean. We're not here to belittle. We are not here to hate. That's not why we're here. No matter what the stories are that we share, it's not to trigger you, it's not to hurt you, but I just want you to know that this story that we're going to be talking about may be triggering for some. So guard your heart, guard your mind, and be prayed up, because we're going to go through it, and we're going to go through it with love in our hearts. We're not going to go through it with hate, and we're not going to go through it wishing harm on people. That's not the goal here. The goal is to pay attention, is to explore, it's to learn, so we can self-check, look into or examine our own lives, and make the relevant changes and do the relevant work, so that our lives can have positive outcomes, or we can veer away from the things we detest, we don't like. You know what I mean? So it's all a lesson, and I want to thank every single person who will be mentioned in this story, whether I mention them by name or their videos or their clips are played, whatever. I thank them. God bless them, and I see God's good intentions in all of it, even the bits of it I don't yet understand. I trust God with it, but I'm not here to be a judge. I'm not here to be an executioner. That's not why we're here. All right, so let's just be very clear about it. Now, before I go any further, I just want to read the copyright disclaimer that you can see on the screen. Under copyright disclaimer, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right. So now We're going to go into the first clip. We're going to be reacting to 2 TikTok videos, and then we're going to be looking at the focal point for story for tonight. Again, very triggering. We're going to be talking about, you know what, I'm just going to go straight to it, but just remember, triggering.
Lovely daughters, delicious, sweet-smelling, wonderful things. I can still remember their hair done, their starched dresses, and how when they would bend over, the dresses would come up, and you'd see the panties, and it. They're just, little girls are just totally beautiful things, and I was happy. I was lucky with.
Surprise, surprise, this guy works in the film industry. Well, maybe not so much a surprise. I don't even know how we go about dissecting this one. I'm lost for words, literally speechless. I've never heard someone speak so openly in such a manner like that. And the camera kept rolling, like no one stopped it.
All right. This is not something one can prepare for. It's not something I can prepare for, but I feel pretty strongly it is something. It exists, so it exists, so it ought to be confronted. The first thing I want to say about this, because there's a reason I'm playing this clip, you know, based on the trending topic I'm going to be talking about. Not that they're related, and let me say this: these clips are not related at all. It's just the conversation I want to have, and all of these clips that I'm playing, they are different clips selected from different points in different videos, and so they're not being played in the order they were created. Excuse me, let me be clear about that, because I don't want anyone to be misled. All right. Now, the first part of this that I want to talk about is when he said they just kept rolling. I thank them for I'm happy they kept rolling. You see, I've had many conversations with myself. Do you want to know? Don't you want to know? I don't think it matters whether or not I want to. It's my choice. If I had a choice, to be honest with you, I don't like to be in the dark with anything. I like to know what I'm dealing with. I like to be clear on, okay, what's here, what's before me, so I can know how to handle it. And I think we choose too much darkness. As in, when I say darkness, I don't mean something that's dark. I mean, we choose to stay in the dark too much. And I'm very happy they recorded it, because had they not recorded it, we wouldn't have heard it. We would not have heard it. And I'm challenging us tonight to ask ourselves, because we can get as mad with this man as we want to be. We can get as upset with him as he sat there and talk about his daughters. My God, help us. Give me strength, Lord. We can get mad at him if we want to. But isn't it better if we know? Isn't it better if we are going to a well every day? Let's say we're sending our children to the well for water every day. We're sending them to a playground every single day. And there's lead in the water. There's lead on the ground where they're playing. Wouldn't you want to know? Even if you can't, if that's the only water in the world that you have access to, wouldn't you want to know, so at the very least you can treat the water? You can protect them from the water. You can guide them away from the water. You know what I mean? So I think we ought to become strong enough to face what is real about this life, because it is real about this life. And we can't keep stuffing our heads in the sand. This man is not the only man who feels this way. This man is not the only man. Some of our loved ones Some of our loved ones are capable of what he just said. Some of our loved ones are guilty of what he just said. And some of our loved ones are guilty of having done what he just said. Like done things. Taking it beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, beyond the words to actually enact, do things to our children. And for me, I am saying, and that's why I endorse people telling their stories. Too many secrets. How do we put up a defense when we don't know what how do we put up a strong defense when we don't know what it is that we're at war with? So for me, I'm not proud of how he feels or what he's thinking or where his mindset is, but I also go to, how did a little boy grew up to become this man with these thoughts? You can condemn him if you want to, or you can say, how do I learn from him so that we can heal the world? Because what I'm hearing in him is brokenness. I do not condone what he's saying. What I'm saying is, as painful as the process will be, we've got to face it. And then we're going to have to figure out a way of how to either heal it, manage it, redirect it, protect your children. That's all I'm saying. And that's why I shared it, because I'm going to play another clip and then I'm going to go into another story. Now, it is not my place to say whether or not someone is guilty, whether or not they are right or wrong. I am not a judge. I'm not an executioner. I am not God. Because this is it. Yeah, you can hate the perpetrators all you like. But if you believe there is a God, then you're going to have to bring it to his table. Because that God that we know and love have allowed these things to happen. For whatever reason, he said, okay, that's what's happening. We're going to move through this. So what I'm asking God to do is to help me to find the breakdown here and show me how to work on myself, because this I don't want to become. I don't want to be affiliated with. I don't want to attract it. Yeah? I don't want to fall in love with any man who is capable of this and I don't know. So I want to listen to him speak and see how much I can learn from it, so maybe he can help me identify who are like him. There's a possibility my father was like him, but I don't know. Or maybe I do know. I don't know. Yes? So, yes, let's move on to the next one.
You're here to meet a 14-year-old boy? Am I right or am I right? You're here to meet a 14-year-old boy?
I'm waiting for somebody.
Yeah, he's 14.
I don't know.
You know how old he is. How old did he say he was? You can't meet a 14-year-old boy for my man. You understand that? You did. I have the messages and the phone calls. Yeah, of course.
You take my bag? Yeah, I got you. All the way in, okay? All the way in.
Can't meet children for buddy. Thank you, officer.
You got it. You guys,
You got everything you need. Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for everything you do every day for everyone.
And I'm thankful for everyone there, including the guilty or the accused. Everyone. Because their stories expose us to what exists in this world. That man and the way he talked about his daughter, he's not one of a kind. And I have to ask myself, like, how might I be contributing to darkness in the world. And this is why when I hear things like these, I don't want to hate. I don't want to take all that darkness in. I don't want it to come into me. So I want to have the capacity to still love the broken, even though I do not condone the brokenness. Yes? I mean, that's a given. Okay? Now, here we are, where this second video, right? You see, we went from that man talking about his daughters. Yeah? Now we're at a video where an actual man, allegedly, is awaiting a 14-year-old boy who allegedly, based on the video that you hear, is anticipating sexual activities, right? 14 years old. Now, I'm going to, as I go to the next to the main story for tonight that I want to talk about, which is the Macron versus Candace. When will we get to a place where, or is it possible for us to get to a place where all victims are treated equal and all perpetrators are treated equal? Because this is it, right? For about a year or so, Sean Combs and Cassie's names plastered our media. We sang it, we cursed it, we talked it, we slept on his name, we woke up on his name, and these were two individuals in two adults in consensual relationships. And because of that one video, one act of domestic violence, which I personally, for me, I do not condone violence. However, personally for me, it wasn't the biggest domestic violence act or act of domestic violence I've ever seen. It wasn't even mildly close to it. And then to hear that he was also on drugs, that's the sick person. He wasn't in his right mind. I'm not defending it. I'm saying we're going to have to find a way to walk in some truth here, or we're going to continue having these issues. So I feel that we're going to have to make a decision between angry, hate, or truth, fairness, justice. Because I believe that we all contribute to the darkness in different ways. When we lie, when we envy, when we covet, when we kill, when we harm, when we hurt. They say hurt people. What happened to that man that he felt okay? Well, I don't know if he was okay. He was just telling how his experience. I did not hear him saying it, I was okay with this. Because lest we forget, I've done things where I'm like, okay, let me say it this way. I sometimes struggle with thoughts that I have to say to myself, what is that? We're not thinking that. We're not doing that. No. Sometimes some things happen and it's like your mind can go to this place of cruelty. And I have to like, what are you doing? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. No. That's not my thoughts. We're not having those thoughts. That's not my thoughts. I have to be on top of my mind management, yeah? So we can't pretend as though these things started with them and it ended with them. So we have to get past the hate and the anger and the everything and confront these things in the interest of our children. Now, what I was saying is with the whole Sean Combs thing, right? Why weren't we talking about these things? Why aren't these things flooding the airwaves? Just asking. Now we're going to go to the other video, which is the one that we are going to be discussing today.
I did not know my table was a president.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's him.
Because usually
Please bear with me. All right, there we go.
I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am
fully prepared to take on this battle. You are officially a very goofy man, Brigitte. But I got to give it to you, you've definitely got balls. If you need any more evidence that Brigitte Macron is definitely a man, it is just what is happening right now. The idea that you would file this lawsuit is all of the proof that you need. Phone calls, emails since January. They did not send us a copy of the lawsuit. They did not give my lawyer a heads up that they were filing a lawsuit, but they did instead opt to give this lawsuit ahead of time to the Financial Times, the New York Times, CBS News. What does that tell you? It's a PR strategy. That their filing includes a description of the circumstances in which they met. The president was a 15-year-old student at a Jesuit high school in Amiens when he first encountered Brigitte, then a 39-year-old married teacher with 3 children. So much of that is not true. Again, they're trying to say he's 15, he was 14. According to the filings, they, quote, formed a deeper intellectual connection when she directed a production of the 1971 Milan Kundera play, Jack and His Master, in which Macron played the lead role. And later, the two began meeting regularly to collaborate on another play. Their relationship, quote, remained within the bounds of the law, the filings say. But when the teenager's parents found out about his, quote, strong feelings for his teacher, they moved him to a different school. Before he left, he told her, whatever you do, I will marry you. Dude, you're such a creep. Like, the fact that you're stating this as a defense, and you're not even telling the truth here, okay? Because you can't ignore the facts of how old he was when he was in that play. You just can't. So happy to go through this in court. But do you realize how creepy you are? How creepy this sounds? Because I'm just like a creepy old man. Like, that's what happened here. And you stating this is like, oh, it's so disgusting. We're not going to shut up. You're not going to bully us. The discovery alone is going to be out of this world. You've met your match. I will see you in court. This is a headline in China about the series. We also saw in Taiwan, there was a news clip about the series. Also in Saudi Arabia, somebody tagged me and let me know that also in the Middle East, somebody tagged me in the UAE this morning. I just love this so much. This is exactly what they deserve by thinking that they were going to suppress my speech with threats and in the absence of any truth. Like, they were just that powerful. They were going to come here and be like, now you better listen to us and shut up. Of course, I am only going to get louder. I am totally committed now to doing so much more on both Emmanuel and Brigitte. So stay tuned.
All right. So, let me be very, very clear. Okay. So let me be clear. All of this is alleged, right? And I don't want you to think that I played the first 2 videos because I'm trying to lead you into believing something. That's not why I did it, and I want to make that very clear. I played those 2 videos because I want us to bear in mind what might be at stake. What may need to be considered, you know? So let me just go through what I have here. So Macron, I think it's Macron versus Candace Owens, why it matters. So allegedly, the president of France is suing Candace Owens. You just heard her speak. Yup. Emmanuel Macron, head of a nuclear-powered nation, is going after a conservative American commentator legally, according to the reports. But here's the real headline. Why does this lawsuit matter to the rest of the world? And I'm going through this because as I listened, oftentimes when something happens in the news, it's like people go straight to taking sides. Why do we have to take a side, you know? And I hear a lot of persons, because, and again, that I talk about the Sean Combs case, because I hear persons saying, why does it matter? Who cares? Even if it is so, who cares? Really? Really? We don't care if these allegations are true? I'm not saying they are, but we don't care if they were true. Why did the police surround that man just now and arrested him? Because allegedly he was, based on their assessment, waiting on a 14-year-old boy with sex in mind. So why was he arrested? For what? If that being true, if adults having relations with minors are okay, then why was he being arrested? And I'm not suggesting by any means that it happened in this case, but I'm saying, what if it is true? We don't know if it's true, and we don't know if it's false, based on the fact that she's done her investigation and then it's going to go to court. However that pans out, it pans out. All I am trying to say is I can see why it matters either way. Anyway, because on the other hand, if it isn't true, it's also problematic. All right. But here's because it's not but here's the real headline. Why does this lawsuit matter to the rest of the world? Because it's not just about Candace. It's about who controls speech in the global digital age. If a world leader can silence a voice across borders, what stops others from doing the same? Flashbacks. Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, Carol Cadwalladr, Brexit expose. This is textbook public interest journalism, just like Assange, Ressa, and Greenwald. If her claims involve misuse of power, hidden money, or ethical violations, that's not gossip, that's accountability. The global stakes. Censorship, platform takedowns, speech controlled by foreign lawsuits. So the question isn't just what did Macron do? It's who gets to tell the story and who gets to silence it. This is allegedly the segment where we transform gossip into growth. Gossip into growth. So subscribe for stories they don't want you to tell. So where in this story can we find the breakdowns that can inspire our self-work for breakthroughs, you may ask? Well, I'm Coach Racquel, like I've said before, as you can see. And today's breakdown, self-work breakthrough lesson is one for the disruptors. We're breaking down the real world global story and transforming it into fuel for your breakthrough. Sued by power. Okay, sued by power, turning public pressure into entrepreneurial breakthrough. Because whether you're building a brand, launching a mission, or standing for something that shakes systems, this one is for you. Breakdowns, self-work, breakthroughs. Let's get into the 3 lessons behind the headlines and how to apply them to your life, should you choose to, your legacy, and your leadership. Breakdown number 1, when truth meets power. Global news. French President Emmanuel Macron seeks American commentator Candace Owens, sues American commentator Candace Owens, according to the reports. Why? She released an investigation that challenged the image of a world leader. But here's the breakdown. Power often resists truth. Not saying this particular story is true, especially when the truth comes from outside the palace. The entrepreneurial insight. If you challenge the norm, you will face resistance, even from the top. The self-work prompt. Where am I playing small to avoid shaking the table? Am I quiet because I fear the reaction of those with more reach? Breakthrough. Courageous visibility is your competitive edge. Speak with bold clarity. That's authority. See, this all goes back to what I told you even about my own challenges, where I found that I withdrew from people because in their presence I lacked, or I was short on capacity to adequately stand up and defend myself. And so I went into a recluse and I would not defend myself, and I'm learning to do it different. See how all of these ties? Because it's not that the truth matters. That's number one, right? But remember that also, what should I say? Learning lessons, seeking truth, all of those things matter too. You know what I mean? Now we keep going. Again, I'm not saying Candace is right and the Macrons are wrong. And I'm not saying the Macrons are right and Candace is wrong. That's not what I'm not the judge. So that's not what I'm saying. So let's go to breakdown number 2. Global voices need global strategy. Macron didn't just push back. He crossed borders to do it. This is a French president suing an American citizen. Your voice today lives everywhere. The question is, are you prepared for it? The entrepreneur insight. You don't just need a product. You need a borderless brand, as in borderless brand, that can withstand pressure from any direction. The self-work prompt. Is my business legally protected, digitally portable, and purpose aligned for global scale? And I will even go further to say this. Is my family legally protected? Do I have a defense fund for my family, for my kids, should something happen to them? But that's besides the point, what we're thinking about. The breakthrough, strategic global positioning. You don't need to go viral. You need to be built to last on principle, not platform. A lot of persons will say, oh, social media is the devil. Social media is evil. Social media is a bridge. It's a tool like any other. It's inanimate. Human beings are the ones that's using it. You know, this is something I shared on Facebook this week. I was saying, the way we see people troll people online, who do you think is doing the trolling? People. These are the same people in your restaurants serving you food. These are the same people, in the healthcare system, taking care of the people you love, having your lives in their hands. Can you afford not to have media as part of your defense for your business or your family? Can you afford not to have your own mouthpiece with reach? You can choose what you do. You don't have to do something negative. And like it said, you don't need to go viral. You need to be built to last on principle, not platform, right? So let's go to breakdown number 3. Personal brand versus institutional power. Candace Owens may be controversial, but she's consistent. Her brand is loud, clear, and strategic. And here's what you need to know. Institutions now answer to personal brands. Even governments can't ignore a well-positioned voice. Why would a government, based on their mandate, not want to encourage people to have a voice? You should ask yourself that question. Why would any government want to silence people? Why wouldn't the goal be to train, to guide, to provide resources? Why would it be to silence? We were born free. And don't we have a responsibility? Because since the family is the first institution, we our husbands or our mother, our wives, whoever, we have to govern our homes, don't we? If something happens in the world and we need to protect ourselves, let's say the government gets overthrown, what happens to the people who've been silenced if they're not equipped to get up and fight? So it's something to think about. Again, I am not saying who's right or wrong here. Okay. So the entrepreneur insight here, your reputation is your revenue. Your voice is your market access. The self-work prompt here. Am I building a brand rooted in truth or just chasing trends? The breakthrough. Unshakable brand identity. You don't have to be liked. You don't have to be liked. You have to be aligned. And that's how movements are born. So let's recap. So here's your takeaway. At least this is what I hope. Challenge power with principle. Build for global relevance. And number 3, anchor your brand in truth. The people who shake systems, they don't wait to be popular. They prepare to be principled. Now, here is a spoken word piece that I want to share on this, right? You hear what I say? The brand is to be built on truth. Your voice is to be built on truth. So this is it, right? I'll say this before I go to the spoken word part. I love Candace's drive. I love her drive. And I love that she is unafraid to stand up for what she stands up for what she believes in, right? The part about it that I feel a bit uncomfortable with is the gloating. Even if she's right, if there is a 14-year-old victim here, there's nothing to gloat about. There's a whole country beneath the platform upon which the accusation stands. There is nothing to gloat about. There's nothing to laugh about. There's nothing to play about. This is serious, right? So I don't see anything funny in this. Nothing funny, right? Also, justice needs to be fair for everyone. And I do believe when you're in public office, I think there's a thin line between respecting people's personal life and choices and their public responsibilities. And I think there should be some training and education. I don't know, maybe the UN. I know the UN agencies, they do media training and things. For example, in the Caribbean, I know we have like Panos Caribbean and stuff, but I think there should be some media training for people to understand. Instead of shutting people down, give them access to training. Everybody with a podcast, give them access to training, right? Give them access to tools and techniques that can help them be their best self and to root their voices in truth. Even though not everyone is open, not everyone wants truth at the forefront, right? But nobody should be shut down because they're seeking it or they're speaking it, right? But I the part of it that makes me very, very uncomfortable is that I feel like I hear gloating and the laughter. It's not funny. It's not funny, because if this isn't true, then there's a woman and a husband and a country behind this. And if it is true, the same stands. The same applies, you know? So I don't think any of this is funny at all. Yes? So I just want to put that out. And so there are responsibilities on us as podcasters when we touch people's stories. And that's why I say this, and I'm going to say it again. Thank you to the Macrons. Thank you to the men who were out there talking, to the officers. Thank you to everyone involved in this story, because they did not have to expose their life experiences for me to learn from, to understand that, you know what, Racquel, here are some lessons here. There's some self-work to be done, because I'm not perfect by no means. God bless the people who like and love me, because I think I'm terrible at social relationships. Terrible. I'm terrible at love. I'm terrible at interpreting experiences with people. And to the people who take the chance, the risk to put me in their hearts, thank you. Thank you. Because I don't even know if I have capacity to give it back. Right? So we ought to be cautious of how we handle people's story, because there is no joke here. This isn't funny for nobody. These have global implications. This isn't funny. So I share this spoken word piece. Mic check, not mic attack. Mic check, not mic attack. We hold the line between facts and fury, between boldness and bullying dressed up in bravery. We speak truth to power, but truth has a posture. And posture, beloved, is everything. Because every podium is a pulpit, every platform a mirror, and every mic we hold is a reflection of the motive in our mouth. We don't trade in gossip. We traffic in clarity. But clarity without compassion, that's just noise. We can investigate without instigating. We can uncover without undoing. We can challenge the throne without mocking the crown. Let it be said, we are not here to humiliate. We are not. I don't like to see human beings. I've gone through a lot in my life, you know. I've been misunderstood. I've been lied on. I don't know how many people even truly understand me and who I am, or even if I'm effective in translating it. And as I say, I have done such a poor job at defending myself, in that I never defended myself at all. And I sit now and I look at myself and I'm like, how could you not have defended yourself? How do you allow people to just draw these conclusions and live on with it? And that's why I speak out on things that I'm not even affected by, and it's not even happening to me, but I speak out anyway, because I don't care what a person is, what they've done. It's not my place, because whenever I go back to, okay, so this person did this, he wanted to do that with but God allowed it. The God that I believe there is a God. I know God. I'm not talking about I think there is a God. No, I know God. I'm here because God exists. I couldn't have been here because I never even lift a finger to defend myself. God did it all. So I am very thoughtful about how we treat people, guilty or innocent. They are still beings. And I know, because of my relationship with the God that I know, that there are times God assigned people to do inconceivable things, because he has an ultimate goal that I cannot see. I do not know. I don't have a bird's eye view of God's world. I do not. I only see from my perspective, and my perspective is extremely limited. Anyway, let me continue. Let it be said, we are not here to humiliate humans, even when they lead with arrogance, even when they sit in high places, even when they forget we're watching. And I pause. If you say they're doing something wrong, then you doing something wrong to catch them in their wrong equalizes the wrong. You're both now wrong, so nobody can hold anybody accountable anymore. So you cannot assume elite superior, not elite superiority, but you can't be elitist in your morality, but then do the very thing you detest because you're doing it to the person you detest. No. And that's why when I saw the Sean Combs case, and when I heard how people were going, and look what happened. And this is something that I think Candace should think about, because it's either racism exists or it does not. And ma'am, if it does exist, you're still a black woman. I don't care which white man you're married to. I don't care I don't care what committee is being the battery in your back. I know from experiences that there are guilty cases that turn out innocent. There are people who are guilty of things who are found not innocent, but who are found not guilty of the very thing they're guilty of, or that very things they've done. So let's not pretend as though there isn't global power and global agendas that could make you lose this case even when you didn't lose the case. So some humility, I think, and that's why I believe media should be objective. We need to be objective because there's humanity at the heart of it, and then there's power at play in it. So no matter how the powerful fall sometimes, let's not forget. So anyway, I'll continue. I'm going to read this again. Let it be said, we are not here to humiliate humans, even when they lead with arrogance, even when they sit in high places, even when they forget we're watching, because they too were children once. Because power isolates. Because pressure makes even the most polished souls crack. So when we hold them accountable, let it be with fire in our voice, but grace in our eyes. Let our pens pierce injustice, but not the humanity of the one behind the podium. Mic check, not mic attack. Not assassins of character. We break systems, not spirits. Allegedly and always intentionally. You were born for bold moves. Now go turn pressure into purpose and tell them Coach Racquel sent you. I just wanted to share that on this issue. It is I wish them all well. It is my hope that God's will be done. Thank you so much for staying with me.
mycoachministry.com. We're on a mission to empower 1 million purpose-driven entrepreneurs, turning calling into currency. Through strategic coaching, we guide visionary leaders, brand elevation, and creative empowerment, helping leaders break barriers and own their identity. Build impactful, wealth-generating brands that echo across generations.
I love to open new packages. There will be the latest information on the top funding opportunities for entrepreneurs who are seeking funding along with me. I'm Coach Racquel, and this is a passion project for me, so I'm so happy to bring this to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching.
Unlock your potential every Thursday with our podcast, Refresh, Relax, Renew. Join Coach Racquel as she guides you through personal development journeys. Each episode focuses on actionable steps to enhance your personal journey. The podcast features 3 main segments to keep you engaged. We start with discussions on trending topics relevant to your growth. Then we unbox solutions to common challenges we face daily. Finally, stay updated with fresh funding opportunities each week. Tune in every Thursday for new episodes, and see you there.